All right, Deadheads. How are we? Kev, everyone, tuning in. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button down below. If you want to, can do. Dislike the video, like the video, do whatever you want, lot. But Reds, we have started this season absolutely not perfect, but that was a Chelsea game that we were, but better than I anticipated, Kev. Probably you anticipated the start of the season. Reds watching, probably I'm better than we all anticipated, but I am proud of these lads. I know Kev is. Every single one of you are tuning in. If you are in the watching this on the repeat, do get involved in all the comments. Me, Kev, and the great community of Reds we've got on the channel. We'll always get back to you as well. But Kev, how are we?
Yo.
After great weekend, United losing, the Ev losing, Liverpool.
I didn't even see the Everton result. I was too busy with the kids. I didn't check. I seen it was 0-0 at one point. What was the final score?
Yeah, they got beat 1-0.
Just 1-0. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll touch on the Premier League results and
giving themselves a little bit of hope with just the 1-0 loss to Arsenal.
Yeah. I was going to say their strikers literally, which is a mad one. I know, not one to talk about here, but their striker used to work in KFC, and that's like shout out. I used to work at Mackey's anyway, so fair play to their striker. But he was working in a mad footballing story. He used to work in KFC 4 years ago, Kev. That's amazing. Like that is truly amazing, and fair play to Beto because he's playing in the Premier League and he's leading the line for the Ev.
Yeah, I mean, look at me. I used to work in a bar 20 years ago. Now look at me.
Yeah, and I think he thought he was joining Liverpool. But I don't know. But Reds, Kev, good result for the Reds.
Was a great result. Yeah, just man, just the one thing that I've noticed. I don't know why I've got a second mic coming out of my ear here, but the one thing that I've noticed is the change up is the ability to adapt this season. The technical changes, the ability to counter bad situations. Last season, if we went 1-0 down, we'd probably end up going 2-0 down straight after the second half, at the beginning of the second half. We found that I'd say 60%, 70% of our goals lost in the second half happened within the first 12 minutes of that half, in that second half last season. Now we seem to be turning games around in that same scenario. Poor start, we have to say that, but I mean, it was risky to play McAllister after he played less than, what was it? It was like 18 hours before that or something. Not even, more than that. Was it not 20, 29 hours before that? That's something like that, something weird in the early hours of the morning. And Klopp didn't even see half the South Americans when they came back, so I was very surprised at that. I don't, it's more than likely you're not going to see these boys in midweek, but we'll talk about that a bit later, I suppose. But yeah, look, fantastic result. Mo Salah getting 3 assists. It was still doing the business, I
was going to say the definition and chat's definition of the classic cliche in football, game of two halves. The commentator said, well, the interviewee after the game said to Jürgen, it was very much, and to that, Kev, I do say, like me, you, and all of us, Liverpool aren't going to be playing picture perfect. We didn't really when we actually won the league a couple of years ago. No. And even when City have been winning league titles, even United go far as back. It's just about grinding out results over the 38-game calendar season, mate. But
the majority of those kind of wins that you see back in the day were 1-0 wins in tough games, in scenarios like that. So, yeah, I mean, Arsenal were notorious for it. We were notorious a couple of seasons doing it, where we really had mediocre seasons back in the late 80s. And, sometimes we were fantastic, but other seasons, for six months, we were just scraping 1-0 wins and 2-1s and stuff like that, So it's all about, as you say, Jack, it's all about getting the right result and just getting it over the line, really.
Yeah, you try and get into the habit of being doing YouTube for a very long time, mate, and it's a habit of, do you want to be too overly critical on a game? Because at the end of the day, yes, you can analyze a game over 90 minutes, but in terms of getting the result, fundamentally, that's the most important thing. Come what the end of the season, then you can analyse and pick points. But at this moment in time, Liverpool have, apart from the Chelsea results, as I said at the top of the show, Liverpool have started extremely
Speaking of Chelsea, the way you've just mentioned it there now, I seen very similar what happened to us against Chelsea happened yesterday, where Wolves, where Andy Robertson was getting isolated an awful lot, and Jurgen Klopp then changed it around, and And then Andy Robertson became the best player on the park, I'd say, for the second half. He was outstanding.
Lovely.
But
we'll get on Andy.
Yeah, we get on him in a minute. But it's so good. But like you could see that he was outnumbered for quite a bit, and you have to give it up to Jarrell Kwanzaa as well, man. He had a great game yesterday. Brilliant game.
He's got a big section on tonight's show as well. We're not going to forget those two. Yes, we'll gloat about them too because we're very proud of those two lads. All of them, but mainly those two after yesterday's results. And big up, chat. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button. Drop a like on the video. Takes 2 seconds as well. Big up there, Nigel. And for the channel members as well, I have stopped the channel memberships on the channel at this moment in time because it's unfair on you, and I really do appreciate everyone that has supported through the channel membership as well. But the last month, I haven't been doing well enough good content. I want to be pumping out good content for you. And it was only fair that. And if you have any issues in terms of those memberships getting refunded, hit us up on the socials or on the YouTube tabs or whatnot. It should automatically send a refund policy out anyway off this month's payment. So really do appreciate all the support. Everyone that has paid through the memberships as well. As I said, you're absolute legends. But I'm not happy with the content in recent months, so it's only fair. Stop the content until I actually start doing better content. But big up to the chat, big up Panov as well, big up Michael. KFC used to be about, Nigel, I've just had my tea. Stop saying, yes, I'll tell you what. We've all had a lovely KFC. It's banging, but it's very expensive. You're looking at like a bag and bucket meal for about 15 quid. That'll do me. Yeah, it's from 15 to 20 quid.
That's nuts. No, over here I think it's $7.50 or something like that to $8.25 for these meals, like these Zinger Tower burgers. But you know what? In fairness to KFC, they've changed their chips in the last 2 years and they've become phenomenal. Like I prefer their chips now over McDonald's. But they've had curry sauce and then they got rid of the curry sauce. And I'm very unhappy that I might write a strongly worded letter to somebody who won't read it, and I never get my curry back.
Chat, just call Kev a Karen in the comments, will you?
The mistakes your manager.
You're one of them, aren't you, Kev? I've had a couple of them customers.
Nah, Jesus, not one of them. She's my wife used to manage KFC.
Oh, happy days.
Yeah, she used to be a manager in KFC, yeah.
There we go. Big up the KFC massive, as we say. But big up there, Matthias. Evening. Does this mean the ghost of the 12:30 matches is laid to rest? Matthias, we've got the Ev in a couple of weeks. I think that's straight after an international break. And surprise, who's playing the international break? We'll find out this season, Matthias, but hopefully that is the case. Big up Pyle, big up Eamons. How are we, lads? We're all absolutely buzzing after this week's results. Anyway, big up there, Shay. The one point I've made on my notes tonight, Kev, and we'll get through to it. I've seen a lot of people mention it. So rattle through all these comments. Is the mentality as well, chat. Mentality monsters for you and chat. Are they back, or well, I think we'll find out in the next couple of months, really. But for me, that when I analysed that game and after the game, looking at the highlights again, it's fundamentally the results that have happened over the last couple of weeks. That mentality, of course, the defying against a couple of red cards in recent weeks. Do you reckon that's almost ingrained now in their head that they've come through a lot of diversity in the last couple of weeks, and that's even made them push them on and brought back that hunger back to the squad?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt in the hunger there. The freshening up of the midfield and the whole that has really brought a freshness. It's the only way of saying it to the whole team, and a drive. The lads are working extremely hard in there. I mean, even though McAllister looked like he was knackered, he still had a great game. He's in part, he lost the ball a couple of times. So did Sabasli, by the way. They both, by the time I was talking to my stream, I realised that they were 2 for 2 each for losing the ball and getting the ball turned over in that first half. But look, you said it to yourself, mentality monsters is what are we back to that full thing? We're getting there with regards being the ability to, we know that we can turn over a game now and all of that. I'd like to see, I won't be completely happy until I see the domination starting from the first kickoff. We seem to be turning into a second half team lately. and I don't want to see it. I want to see it from the get-go. I don't care who the opposition is. I just want to see the complacency. Oh yeah, we're playing Bournemouth this week. Let's just relax and then lose 1-0. You know, I don't want to see any of that. If they're not, if you're going to put the main team out there, make sure that they're ready to go to war, is what I would say. And if they're not, make sure that you put out a team that is ready to go to war. That you and Klopp will know the lads more than anybody what they need and what they want. But mentality monsters, yeah, we've always been mentality monsters. We just sometimes didn't have the legs to do it. And now we've got that freshening up. We have the legs to do it. I'd still like to see an extra defender coming in January. This is too many injuries in the defence for my liking.
Yeah.
But and you know, if Andre comes in as well, Trindade, that they said he's coming in. I mean, we're pretty much boxed off, you know, for the foreseeable future, you know. So, and you know, the average age of the team has come completely down, which is great, you know. But you can see, look, the heads were hanging with Henderson and Fabinho, and they weren't happy looking most of the time. When you look back and you think about it, you didn't see him smile too much anymore in games, especially even though they upped their game in the last 6 months of last season, they was still never smiling. I know it was a serious thing, but yeah.
You've got to fundamentally just enjoy your football, mate. And chat, like, and especially when you are representing Liverpool. We know there's so many players in the modern era of football now that just play football for a job and they don't really enjoy it as a job. They're just good at it. They've trained their whole life. The parents not force them, but put them into a system really that would obviously encourage becoming a professional footballer. But it's a great point you've raised there, Kev. We watched this Liverpool side in the last 12 months be not reaching up to the standards that Jurgen Klopp has hit with this Liverpool side. We all know over the last couple of years, in the good moments as well, supporting Liverpool, we've been extremely spoiled, because if it wasn't for City, we'd probably be sitting here for 4 or 5 league titles or whatever. But that's not the case. That's not how football works. And if you're City as well, Kev, when I was watching that second half in Liverpool, if you're a City fan or City manager as well, you're critiquing that game and going, aye, a Liverpool back. Obviously, we'll find out come what the end of May if Liverpool are back. But
good start.
Yeah, what we can do is analyse the small sample size that we have got in recent weeks, and it's that we could mention the first half and rip it to pieces, because there was the first goal, and I got clipped on and fair play to I got clipped on my reaction as well to the first goal. Matip jumping out of the way, but we all know the defensive frailties in this squad. But what I want to focus on, Kev, is there was 3 goals yesterday, but an overall positive, because I think one of the massive keys that I want to ask you, Kev, and ask everyone tonight is, as me title on the thumbnail suggests, the attacking depth off the bench is massive for Liverpool fundamentally this year. How many times, especially under Rafford as well, you'd look to your bench and you go, you'd literally go, like, we've got nothing off the bench. But now the attacking depth off, if everyone's fully fit and everyone's in full form, but Lucho Diaz, mate, we'll get straight to Lucho, and there's obviously we'll speak about Elliott and Quansah, great performance, but Lucho Diaz, the impact he had yesterday was
him and Harvey.
Yeah, him and Harvey, but it's this depth off the bench, Kev. How do you look at this in terms of the weeks to come? It's special for me.
I think that this is the biggest thing I said when I was doing my watch along yesterday. Anybody who was watching with me, I said Klopp has learned how. He's really, really taught himself how to use his bench properly now. He's making the right call. The substitutions in the last few months, even at the end of last season stuff, have been fantastic. You know, they've made real impacts when they're coming on at the right time as well. We'll sit there and we'll scream, or get somebody on a halftime, or get somebody on here. You know, I think he did make a change at halftime yesterday, wasn't it? But it was they've taken McAllister off and bring on
probably due to fatigue anyway.
Fatigue, yeah. But even in saying that, like, we knew that the rest of these kind of changes were going to happen always around the 60 or 65th minute. And we say that not because we know our team, it's just that most teams do that around that time anyway. But look, Nunez, when he came on, they absolutely pinned Wolves back. They just did not know how to handle Nunez. and because of that, Diaz was getting a lot more of the ball, and then Harvey was cleaning up behind. And just even showing that second goal from Andy Robertson, stepping up, trapping it, running up, passing it off to Salah for the 1-2 back in. What a goal!
I was made up. That's classic Andy bloody Robbo, mate. Like I seen on Sky's highlight video on YouTube, and I think guessing it was a rival fan, saying that Robbo's massively underrated. No, he isn't. Not from the red half of Merseyside, anyway. He has been one of the most consistent left backs in the whole of Europe for the last 5-6 year period. Ridiculous. And even with the added drop off of the last 12 months, wasn't just Robbo, it was the whole Liverpool team. But Robbo's good game, and in his career, he's always had a 7, 8 out of 10 in a Liverpool shirt.
And he's starting to put balls back in the box again. I noticed that yesterday as well. He hadn't done that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, you've spoke, Kevin. Every Liverpool fan up and down the land, we want to be seeing the best of an attack and outlet from Robbo, because we know his delivery is unmatched, especially down that left-hand flank in the Premier League alongside Trent. If both of them can play the way they have, and it offers so much creativity, so much depth as well in terms of the attacking threat. So Lucho, mate, obviously Cody Gakpo getting the goal.
I have to give a shout out to Gomez as well before we get into the attacking side of things, because we were talking about it a while. Joe Gomez had a great game yesterday, and the only thing that let him down was Joel Matip. I have to say that if that's the only negative about the whole thing, it's just that I just don't think Matip he's not quite there yet. Matip's a great defender. He's done really, really well for us, but he's not quite there yet. And stepping out of the way for that goal to let Neto run in, that's the most ridiculous thing. At least use your body to usher the guy out. He made Gomez look vulnerable in that moment, so it looked like they weren't closing in, but Gomez was trying to close in, but Matip was just stepping back too much away from Gomez, and it made it look like that they weren't working together. I just think when they played together, I think Matip lets Gomez down rather than the other way around. And I think, if you had Gomez in there alongside Kwanzaa yesterday, probably would have seen that goal wouldn't have happened. And and maybe brought somebody else. I don't know if there was anybody in the bench besides Joe Gomez that could have replaced Trent. But Gomez had a great game yesterday. He put a brilliant ball into the box at one stage, and I don't know how anybody got on the end of it. It was a ridiculous ball that he put in. So he's well able to cross. He had a great game yesterday.
Yeah, 100%. We'll get to Matthias' comments as well, and we'll wax lyrical about our youngster, Gerald Kwanzaa. What a centre half. What a centre half. For Matthias, for these intelligent people here, we're all... Oh, you've seen my takes, Matthias, Christ.
He's calling you all ticklets.
Especially me. I might be wrong, but Kwanzaa was much better than Matip, and certainly much better than Gomez. How can this be? What does it say about the other two? Kev, I'll let you answer that, chat.
No, I just answered it about Gomez. There was no issue with Gomez yesterday. I think there was one time he got megged from Neto on that, from the wing coming in, and then he made a recovery back. But outside that was the only issue that I've seen happen to him. Everything else, he was clearing the ball well. He was passing well. He was linking up well. Matip, it's.
We know the story with Matip. He's going to be gone the end of his current contract.
I think so, yeah.
I'd be extremely surprised if Liverpool give him a contract, because he's on big wages.
It's the end of this year, or is it next year?
At the end of next season.
I think he'll be sold in the summer. I think Matip will be gone in the summer. Maybe somewhere back to Germany, or somewhere in a lower team in England. I'm saying lower team in England, somewhere just a couple of steps down in the league. Matip could suit like a Brighton or something like that. You might even see Newcastle coming in for him or something like that, just as a stopgap. But
he's certainly a improvement for the majority of people below us in terms of the top four. Yeah. But I think it was him and Thiago, the end of both of them current contracts, they both leave at the same year anyway.
Okay.
But Gerald Kwanzaa, mate, when I seen the team sheet, and I'm guessing Kwanzaa, when he woke up this morning, probably was told late last night by Jürgen that he would have been in the team, and he very much didn't disappoint, mate.
Very simple. Very simple, very easy defender. Intercepted really well.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I've watched all the under-21s, because I haven't, but he's massively impressed me since he's come in, mate. Like, for a player, he looked like the most experienced centre half that we had yesterday. And the lad's 18, 19 years old.
effort 20.
Ridiculous.
He's 20, but it was effortless for him. Absolutely, it was effortless. He was the amount of clearances he had with the head, the amount of times he stepped in and intercepted the ball as an attacker was about to receive it at the edge of the box. Again on the other side, the only time that he looked anyway, kind of step off is because he was trying to cover over to help Andy Robertson when he seen that Matip was a bypass because he knew where that ball was going. So instead, normally you'd see a defender coming over and closing down with Matip to make sure it doesn't come across and then the midfielder dropping back into his position. But he saw the danger that Matip left by, so he tried to get over with Andy and block the ball going in, but he couldn't, I mean, at that stage, Alisson couldn't do anything about it because he was already being backed into his net, so he couldn't get back out and he was just clambering in. So, look, he had a great game yesterday. No issues for me. It can only mean, it can only mean good things going forward. We wanted a good youth defender to come through the ranks. I mean, we've had it with Sepp Vandenberg. We've had it with, maybe Nat Phillips would have it. I just seen Mark asking there, was it Matip or Phillips? And I'd still choose Matip. I just think Phillips is great in the air and good couple things, but he's just not quick enough. And neither is Matip, but he was. So if I'm going with Matip in his prime and Phillips in their prime, I'm still going with Matip. So, but at that, I think, look, Phillips should have gone ages ago. Somebody should have bought him. He deserved to leave 2 years ago after getting us into the Champions League with himself and Reece. Reece looked like he was going to step up as well, but that didn't come. But Kwanzaa looks like the real deal. To be honest with you, he looks like he can really make the step up and quickly.
Yeah, and I think Gary said he's from Warrington. If he is, then happy days, mate. I think in between Manchester and Liverpool and Warrington. Famous for the IKEA in Warrington, which I'm going to get a cabinet from tomorrow. But yeah, that's going to be the point, isn't it, Kev? In chat, supposedly we looked at Chilwell, ridiculous money, but long term, you're looking at saving 50, 60 million, even hopefully even more. But apologies I'm wrong, chat, but I think was he the centre half yesterday? Because you had Robbo left centre half, Kwanzaa, and then Matip on the right, and then
they were just drifting that, and he was the left centre half yesterday.
Yeah,
but he ended up being the middle kind of one covering both sides when we were on the attack or getting countered. So
yeah, that to me that says a lot. Especially playing centres at the heart of Liverpool's defence. But long term, Reds, that is absolutely fantastic. And when he's next to called upon, I've got no qualms. And even if he does make mistakes, that's what I was saying, Kev, on my watch along yesterday. It was like, if he makes a mistake, he makes a mistake because he's young. Like, what you can't compensate, as you alluded to, Kev, in chat, when we're speaking about Gomez and Matip, they are the senior players in this squad now. Like, Kwanzaa's looking to them to go, right, boys, what am I learning off you? Somewhat, not just yesterday, but in terms of the weeks to come as well. And even Van Dijk coming off the pitch, when he was coming off the pitch, had a very close word with him and hugged him quite tight as well. He's learning from Virgil van Dijk. He's learning from the best centre half in Europe.
I'd like to see him in the middle of Konate and Vard Sandwich, to be honest with you, in a 3-man backline. If we ever get the chance to do that, that'd be pretty cool to see. I'd also like to see him next to Vard and see what he can do. I mean, it takes the pressure off Konate, who's picking up a lot of injuries lately, and if we're lucky to get Haquin on the same boat with a few players, like Konate is a great player, but most of the time he's probably missing every 6 weeks now, every 6 to 7 weeks now. So. Hopefully, Kwanzaa can step up and just cover where need be, and I'd like to see him getting a few games while Konate is coming back into the side. I wouldn't try and rush him in too much if he's picking up these niggling injuries. I would coax him in and use Kwanzaa, give him the experience, put him next to Verge. Especially, you could do it on Thursday night and see how you get along, because Verge is he probably will rest Verge because it's last, but if you want to give him some match fitness or something coming up to the game next weekend, you'd probably play Verge next to Kwanzaa and see what they're like. So yeah.
I think he'll be one of the main names on the team sheet against Lask, on Thursday night, mate. He probably will become one of the senior players in that. Whether it be, I think it was chat, try and get back to another comment I've seen before, but the rotation in the squad's going to be interesting to say the least anyway. But
Gravenberch as well looked great when he came on yesterday.
Yeah.
Linked up really well. He nearly scored. If he got the ball out under his feet, he would have scored easily. It's So
I
I
tell you
didn't
what,
think he expected it.
if he toe poked that and it was a typical Ajax move of a
Yeah.
youngster, like a lad for a big frame, but certainly
Mm.
got a touch to suit anyway from the academy.
Yeah.
Big up there, Melina. Big win for you lot, Jack. Andy, Robbo. Yeah, Melina. Nice one for that result today, mate. Absolutely raised up with your lads. And what a goal by bloody Trossard. That was such a difficult shot to execute. Have you seen it, Kev? Just on
No,
the
I haven't.
angle, he literally hit it on straight on. One touch, bang, flew into the top left corner, and little arms
No.
couldn't save it anyway. But yeah, surprise wasn't made captain from Hannah. True Hannah, I think all of us, when we done our polls on the channel, when most Liverpool fans probably anticipated, but we're very blessed, Han and Chat and Kev, that we've got so many leaders in this team, and that is going to go an extreme long way until what the end of May anyway. And obviously Nigel's shouting out the Swedish meatballs.
That is the only reason why I go to IKEA.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I go up there and I pretend to shop. So I drive from Cork to Dublin all the way up there and I pretend to shop there. And they just eat meatballs all day.
Chat, sorry if you haven't had your tea and you're starving.
I'm full, but they're just delicious.
Big up there now. Saying that, we've been mentioning IKEA. We're not even sponsored by IKEA or KFC. Maybe one day. Bloody hell, I'll be looking like a meatball if we had any more.
The rest of the world should start pronouncing IKEA properly as well. It's IKEA.
What is
it? IKEA. IKEA.
Lad, you're speaking to a scouse, lad.
I know. No, but we're all going to say IKEA because it's the same. Like, you know, we say Turkey for the country and they actually pronounce it Turkey or something like that. I don't know what it is. Yeah.
So
it's like Munchen and Munich.
Yeah, Bayern Munchen.
Like tomato.
Oh, but yeah,
like potato. Sorry, Jack. I can see you just getting into the thought process, and I'm like, yeah, I have to do it. I have to do it.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So we've mentioned Joao Kwanzaa quite rightly, Robbo as well. We've mentioned this. I want to quickly mention Kev, and that's one thing that we've come into this season as well, chat. The substitutions and the tactical prowess from Jurgen Klopp in recent weeks, he's got it spot on. I think going into this year, I think we've kind of questioned. I know certainly me and you have when we've done our videos over that, not questioning Klopp in terms because Jurgen's Jurgen, we know how much we love him. But in terms of certain in-game decisions in recent last 12 months, you're like, oh, but you've got to credit where credit's due. I think it was a couple of weeks ago.
I have a little answer for that.
Yeah, the substitutions have got so much better. That's probably caveated quite well with the depth of the bench in terms of bringing on players, really, mate. But
I think you know, Klopp is loyal, you know, to a point where players are good for him and stuff like that. And sometimes that's his downfall or his kryptonite in some ways. And the fact that he didn't have to stay loyal to Fabinho and Henderson by bringing them on, and you know, you're seeing what Harvey can do as an impact player when he comes on. You can see, you're seeing what all these other guys are doing. Diaz or Jota when they're coming off the bench, what they can actually do, you know. And he's not kind of always going back to the Milners or the Hendersons or all of these to bring him on. That's the difference from last year. It's a massive difference. I love these guys. Milner was is the best free transfer we've ever had in history. Matip probably second, and then probably Gary Mack third. You're probably looking at that way. Yeah. So you know, and for me, I mean, I still count Andy Robertson as the best because you know it was 8 million one way, 8 million the other way. It was definitely a swap deal.
Kev Stewart the other way, whatever we said in those negotiations to hold, we must have fair play to his agents. Is Kev? Where's chat? That's a question for you tonight. Where's Kev Stewart? Is he even still playing? I don't even know. Like he must be. Chat, is he still a Hull? I don't know. It's like being Brewster. Like is he still at Sheffield United? But I think he's got injury. He's literally. I looked how old he was last week. Was it whoever Sheffield were playing? He's 23, Ryan Brewster now. Ridiculous. Like age does creep up on every player, really, and you do look at
Stewart's got to be the same as Raheem Sterling, right? Something around that, or a bit older.
Yeah. And I was like, chat, where's
John Joe Shelby, maybe?
He's gone to Turkey now. Watch him come back with a full head of it. I don't know.
Martin Skirtle, is it?
Yeah, full on Martin.
Do you all go off to Turkey and come back with a full head of hair?
I need to bring back my hairline anyway, so I'm not chatting much there, chat.
I always the amount of people that tell me that I look bald when I'm on screen, it's just because I got a big forehead from playing football. My hair is actually really long, you know what I mean? And they just don't get it. Like I'm just like, no, I'm not bald. Yeah.
Sorry, Dad. There we go. We've mentioned the substitutions as well, and we've mentioned Darwin Núñez, the impact as well. Andy Robbo mentioned the goal. Harvey Elliott. We've mentioned the mentality Reds as well. Kev, anything that you want to wax lyrical, really, especially going into the Thursday night game? I'm wanting to see a bit more of the intensity you alluded to at the top of the show, a bit more. I'd like to see a bit more oomph at the beginning of the games in terms of more control.
The one thing that's an enigma for me at the moment is how good Curtis Jones has been in the last few months for Liverpool, but also how much he's doing the things right. So his passing ratio is phenomenal in games now. He's up in 92, 93% of all his passes, averaging around that or getting to their mark. But that's all well and good when you're controlling the game against a weaker opponent. Most of the Liverpool squad are going to have within 3% of that. So it makes him look the best because he was the best on the time because he's playing a good anchor player. But I just there was something he wasn't doing enough going forward yesterday. You know, so a lot of passes were happening, and I worry about him becoming another Jordan Henderson when Jordan Henderson was at his pass across and pass backstage. You know, he went twice into his career like that recently. He was like that. And then he was brilliant for the 3 or 4 seasons in between that. And then before that, again, Jordan Henderson was notorious for going back passing and stuff. And then, you know, the season around 13-14, when we nearly won the league, you know, he was phenomenal up there playing in that kind of right attacking mid kind of role. You know, but I worry about Curtis kind of getting into that vein or that I say ilk a lot in this channel, but it is into that pocket of being stuck as a player that passes across and passes back a lot, but doesn't create enough going forward when he is a very flair player and he needs to start bringing his flair back into his game. Because remember when he first came in, he was overly confident, overly cocky, and now that he's established himself, he needs to bring a small bit of that back into his game, I think, and be slightly selfish with regards to taking a couple of shots because he's learned his lesson by passing at the right time. That was my biggest qualm about Curtis Jones. He would never pass right and the right time. And now he's doing it a bit too much that he's losing some of the best essences of his game. So sometimes he just needs to, if he spots a gap, take a strike, take a shot. He's well able to hit him from 25 to 30 yards and curl him into a top corner. We've seen that a couple of times before from him. So, you know, I think it just takes the pressure off the lads having to make runs all the time into the box if he can do that at the edge.
It's to that a caveat that, mate, in terms of potentially as well, chat, let us know your thoughts. Do you think it is in certain terms of certain games? We know Curtis, as you alluded to, his qualities there, mate. And we both love him. We love him to bits. But I think Liverpool, especially going into this season, if we can get to January in the position which we are currently, hopefully move a couple of places higher as well. But I think fundamentally, once Liverpool get that number 6 that what we all crave, someone that comes in and nails down that position for the next 6-7 year period at an elite level, I think then you will see Curtis Jones, McAllister. I think the one thing that done my head in, Kev, is seeing McAllister being sacrificed and chat in that 6 role. He's not going to kick up a fuss. He's got the right personality, but we are stifling his creativity. We're stifling his game for what he was so good at Brighton, mate. Like, I watched that game and he was struggling, but it's not his fault because
he was tired.
He's not an out-and-out 6.
No, that's not the fatigue because the week before that, then he was great, you know, in the role, and he's well capable of doing that role. Because I don't think Klopp really wants, as I said, I've been saying it for the last couple of months. So I don't think Klopp really wants an out-and-out number 6. I don't think he wants to rely on a number 6 anymore. I think he wants to rely on a midfield that can defend as a unit, and you know, with somebody sitting central and somebody who can drop off either side of him. So, you know, I've noticed, you know, Curtis is able to do that in the past. Szoboszlai is definitely able to do that. He wins the ball back a lot. I think we found out that Gakpo was able to do it to a point, but then he couldn't do it against Chelsea and it looked bad. But then, you know, the second half of the game yesterday, Gakpo looked well, but he was out of the game at the start of the game yesterday. Him and Curtis Jones were just non-existent in the game in the first half, while just doing the simple things as well. So, like, for me, if it keeps going on the way it is and Endo doesn't see much game time, you're probably going to see Endo against Lask on Thursday anyway. But if you don't, you're probably going to see Gravenberch alongside him on that left hand side, maybe, making runs, him and Sabasli swapping sides, even Sabasli dropping back a bit, because Sabasli went into that role yesterday when McAllister came off, and he was fantastic.
He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
Like, we're what, 5 weeks into the Premier League season, and certainly I've run out of superlatives ways to describe him every single week, because as you said there, Kev, dropping into the 60s, like, we have got one hell of a bargain for what, 60, 70 million, whatever we would pay. He is £100 million player straight away. Like, the way he's adapted to the Premier League, mate, and it was a couple of times in McAllister, as you alluded to there, mate, fatigue did set in for a couple of players yesterday. I think Szoboszlai and McAllister wasn't there for us. He played a lot of games, but losing silly balls. But I think that was due to the fact of when you're constantly changing your back line, and when it's not as settled, those situations are then arise. But at the end of the day, we won 3-1, happy days.
Can I also say about the what I like the referee? What's his name? What was the referee?
Michael Oliver.
Michael Oliver. I like him when he's reffing, but there's an issue lately as well. McAllister didn't even touch that player yesterday when he put his hand out. There wasn't even a touch, but he got a yellow card instantly. Yet I seen a couple of lads from the other side shoulder bars and grabbing. I even turned around and I said at one point for a Liverpool player, I said that's 20 times worse than McAllister's challenge at the start of the game when there was no yellow card there. So I don't know what it is. There's no consistency again with how the refereeing is going with regards, like whether he did the ref and the yellow card, getting the yellow card because of the way your man went on, but he didn't even touch him. It was a brush, it's
the way I look at that, and chat, let us know, it's Liverpool don't help themselves in recent months. Like, if you've got Jurgen's like all of us, he's a massive fan, even though he gets paid by Liverpool, but he's a football man. Like, he's played it, football, and we had the Sheffield United manager yesterday coming out and
love that, by the way.
Yeah, he was so, and he's probably gonna get sacked anyway, unlucky to the fella, but like he's probably come through the divisions, lower league, we know he has, and we've all played football at like probably the worst levels anyway, but we all understand football, like, and I do get, and referees, the good ones are getting let down by the people around them, the technology, and the fact that the technology for the offsides, Kev, I watched the World Cup and it was spot on in December.
Very good, yeah.
Like that technology, but for some bizarre reason, because of cost.
Do you know why? Because they have to do a job that they're under the governing body in FIFA, and they're under all of these refs to come over there, and they have to be the best of the best of what they do. So that every single person, even down to the linesmen and down to the people in VAR, are better than 98% of the referees in all the respective leagues. So that's the point. So you've got the best of the best inside the group. This is why you see it better. This is why you see it more efficient, because it is the top tier refs that you see doing it. So the lads are there, we know our jobs. Oh, you're going to come to me for that? Yeah, bang, 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 bang. We know what we're doing. Job done within 30 seconds. So I mean, that's easy enough to do with the high quality of refs. But so that goes to show you that there's a bit of either miscommunication, or it's not getting passed down the line, or the lower tier of the refs within the league are not grasping it as well as the others, or they're too casual about it. And well,
I'm just smiling here, Kev, because I seen your post yesterday.
What's that?
You've appointed Howard Webb as the head of referees.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Man United, bizarrely, which is very rare, had a goal disallowed at Old Trafford yesterday. But supposedly the lines were a bit skew really. That's what's happening.
Oh, well, my post, I put up a post yesterday. Last week, what did he say? The cameras weren't at the right angle, and then this week, what did I say? What did I say?
Neville was saying that tonight. He was like, "Oh, the camera angle's shocking and everything." I was like, "What?"
The lines were drawn wiggly, like. So I think that's the post I put up. It's flying anyway on Facebook, but it's great. But it's no, man, it's just like they were talking about Klopp giving out about weather and grass and whatever, like this and that. But I mean, Ten Hag is worse. He's worse. So
he's the Dutch Jolly. Ten Hag at the wheel, up the Reds. Happy days. Yeah, he spent more money than Jurgen Klopp has in the Premier League.
Yeah.
In his career at Liverpool. Just saying.
Majority of them have. But that just goes to show you the difference between managers. There's 2 top-tier managers in the league. That's Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola. And the only reason that I'm still rating Klopp over Pep Guardiola, regardless of what he's won, is because Pep has never done what Klopp did. And you can go around to this debate all day long. They'll turn around and say, yeah, Pep's won a lot of trophies here or there. Pep has been backed since day one by every ownership that he's gone into.
At least he admits it, though.
And he said, he does. He said, he does say it. So I think he respects Klopp more than any of us do, to be honest with you. And I think Klopp scares the absolute crap out of Pep. He was the same back in Germany. So
I just go back to that clip. Was it in Champions League when we knocked him out? He sat at Goodison Park going, Salah, Firmino, you're going to play Mane through the middle, I don't know. And he's just stroking his head for a good 15 minutes at half time. Putting a bit of polish on his head anyway. So, both hugely talented. Fair play if Pep Guardiola in the next 5 years goes to Tranmere Rovers and gets them back into back in the Prem, gets them into the top flight of English football. But until that day comes, he'll probably go to some mad national side.
See, Pep will never be able to do what Klopp does now because he's already established. Klopp wasn't established when he was doing what he's doing. He earned his way. So Pep has got the silver spoon, man. And at least Ancelotti's done it in the lower leagues a bit. These kind of managers. So it's very hard to rate these teams, man. And it's great having this tactics, but if you've got the choice of 3 players for every position that can do exactly the same job as the other 2. So one can do exactly the same job as the other 2. Probably superlative there is probably Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland. They're probably a step above everybody else in the team with regards to their position. But everybody else, he's got 3 people for every position, pretty much. And Doku's after coming on now, and he can do it better than what Jack Grealish is doing for him recently. He was in good form, by the way.
Yeah.
They got rid of Mahrez and that Portuguese Egypt, whatever his name is. That fella I don't like. They never clapped Liverpool when they won the league.
Oh, Bernardo
Silva, man. He's just I don't know. But there's a few coaches out there. There's Lopetegui wasn't doing too badly at Wolves before he was let go. Your man at Brighton.
I love Cooper and I love Thomas Frank.
I like him as well. Yeah.
I love both of them. I think it will be interesting, and I've always admired.
Cooper did he trade at Liverpool, didn't he?
I think so in the academy or whatnot.
The academy, he learned all Klopp's tactics that way.
Yeah, but the Thomas Frank, the fact that he's kept Brentford still in the Premier League with their budget, lack of budget, really.
Mid-table, all the time.
Yeah, especially with Ivan Toney as well, currently, as it stands, and that's an whole other show in itself. The fact that he's been banned for 9 months, even though previous players have been banned for... He's done more, but banned less. I don't know. But go to this one from Eamon, Kev. The refs are going overboard with the added time. Chat, let us know. I loved the World Cup and I liked it. I'm loving it.
I'm loving it as well. Yeah, to be honest with you, I think that not when you're a Liverpool fan and you're probably waiting, you're going a goal ahead. It probably isn't great, but for me, man, it's just that it stops all this time wasting. Some of the biggest frustration you have in games is when Liverpool. Think of it this way. When Liverpool are playing against a team that just kicks you, hurts you, the minute you touch them, they fall. Yeah, the minute you touch them, they fall over, they roll around, they waste 2.5, 3 minutes on the deck. People coming on, and the clock goes up and shows 3 minutes at the end of a game, and you're still a goal behind you to try and win it. For me, it takes those kind of games out of the equation. It takes these kind of teams. It takes the power away from those kind of teams. Not us. We'll carry on regardless whether we play the extra 8 minutes or 10 minutes or not. It's not going to make much of a difference to them. Those teams are knackered. You could see it there in the benches. In the Newcastle game. Even they were knackered by the second half, chasing us around the place. Same with Aston Villa. Same with Wolves yesterday. Wolves just went kaput. They couldn't run anymore. So it just goes to show you it suits teams like us.
Yeah, us in the city, Christ. Like we did yesterday, as you said there, Kev, you're looking at it and you got Darwin Núñez coming on, Gakpo in a couple of weeks, or whoever's coming off Liverpool's bench, and you're like, oh, really? But it's hopefully that plays into the advantage. I think I said at the beginning of the season, I didn't anticipate it to work this well, not just for Liverpool, but for everyone, really. in the Premier League, because I thought the advertising, we know how important, how much revenue's made in football. I thought the advertising, people that control the television schedules and everything would be like, oh, no, max 5 minutes. But when we're saying, we'll quickly touch on the Tottenham game, Kev,
Yeah.
and their manager.
I like him too, man.
I love
Yeah.
him. He is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Chat, if you've seen the highlights from the Tottenham game, they were getting beat 1-0.
Yeah.
My dad had Tottenham in his last man standing, and he's been a lucky boy over the last 2 weeks.
I was talking to you about that before the game, Jack, about the amount of games that happened that came from behind this weekend was ridiculous. Let me have a look there a second.
What's his bloody name, the manager? But
Postecoglou.
Yeah, at the beginning of the season, I was like, oh, Spurs won't do too well. But that was my naivety, because I haven't seen a lot of his games when he was managing Celtic, but that's my naivety. But
I'm glad Spurs are doing okay, because we'll beat them and then they'll take points off City, because when Spurs are playing okay, they take points off City and Arsenal all the time.
Yeah, they are a breath of fresh air, chat, and fair play to it. I know we don't like Richarlison on this channel, but obviously I think he's come out with in recent weeks about his obviously mental health. It's so important for everyone as well. So, but he had a big impact at the weekend. But in terms of added on time, like, he is somehow galvanised Tottenham, and supposedly with reports this week, certain players have come out of that Tottenham dressing room and stating on record for a couple of newspapers that they are is halftime team talks or team talks before and after the games as some of the best in Tottenham memory, really. And you think of Conte, you think of Mourinho, that play managers that have managed.
Probably back to Harry Redknapp days, I suppose.
Yeah, like, he must be, well, I think that's a big selling point to why Tottenham did get him. You've seen there's a small documentary you've seen on YouTube and social media before this move. I was like, that's one of his biggest selling points, Kev. The
I haven't even seen that, so I'll be watching that after this.
Yeah, the motivation tactics. It's a big ploy for Jurgen Klopp. It looks like it's Postecoglou as well. But do you think, just on Tottenham, really, mate? Do you think you anticipate them to do well this season?
Well, I said at the start of the season that if Spurs get it right, if they do get rid of Harry Kane, I can see Spurs getting better, because they were too reliant on Harry Kane, and I said they had the bones of a good team there, but they were always looking for an outlet man to score. I know it forced them to step up their game and score, themselves, and they're playing better football because he's left. So they're passing around more. They're getting into positions that they didn't need to get in because Harry Kane, it's almost like a gimme with Harry Kane there, that you might lose against the big teams, but you're always guaranteed for him to win you a game, no matter how much you're kind of struggling or draw a game. And that was kind of okay for Spurs. They were kind of sitting in that bubble where they were okay with just kind of getting back and scraping a draw. But now, like, they're pulling wins out and stuff like that, so which is amazing. But anyway, back to this thing here, Jack, with this. It was Crystal Palace were 1-0 up on Villa yesterday, right? And then Villa came back 3-1. Spurs, they were down 1-0, weren't they? They were down 1-0 to Sheffield United. They came back. We were down 1-0 to Wolves. We came back and beat them. Who else is there?
City were getting beat 1-0 as well.
Yeah, City were getting beat 1-0, and that turned. Yeah, they came back 3-1. So the amount of games that were just turned around yesterday were ridiculous. Newcastle, Brentford, they were 1-0. But
that to me states as well. Chat, let us know your thoughts on the results this weekend. That to me screams that the quality in the Premier League from a managerial point of view has got extremely much better. Like the in-game tactical understanding, we've already spoke about Jurgen's reactionary. It's improved this, especially over the last couple of weeks. But you do watch certain games, and I think we're living in the best era as a Premier League football fan, even if whatever team we do support, if you're 1 or 20. I know we mock certain teams down there in the Premier League, but it's quality, mate. Like, it is absolutely amazing. Hence why it's the most popular league in European football, in Wales anyway. Like, the quality on show, you mentioned, we're going to touch on Brighton as well, lads. As Niall said there, lads, about De Zerbi as well. Like, it's remarkable. Like, and shout out, we'll speak about Brighton now, mate. Because I think it was a result that didn't surprise me. I've seen certain pundits this weekend speak about it on BT and Sky and whatever, like saying it was a surprise. It wasn't a surprise to me. Probably not you, Kev, not to anyone.
Not me at all. Not me at all. And Martinez got sat down again. So very very gross. It's there's what I find, and this is not just being a Liverpool fan of what I hear about Man United, but they seem to big up all their players instantly without ever seeing them playing, or it's just like, oh, we need to big them up because we need to try and. I understand supporting a team, like Blindside, we're all slightly deluded in our own way when it comes to being supporters, unbiased. But there's a time and a place to do it, and you can't just kind of when the rest of the world watches all football. No, there was back in the day when football was kind of when you didn't have so much television coverage and not every game was shown on TV. People actually had to go and do their homework, the games, and study teams and stuff like that. So nobody knew what kind of team was going to show up. They knew they were good. They see them a match of the day and they were saying, "Oh, they look wonderful a match of the day," and highlights. I wonder what they're like when we see them really. And and then you find out when the game comes. A lot of people are able to watch all games, nearly not all games, nearly every single game in the Premier League around the world, and they can see what way these players play. So this old bravado of bigging up players and bigging up teams before they even kick the football for you is ridiculous. So I mean, they were saying the same about Martinez because he had one good game from or something last season against Liverpool when they won 2-1. And then after that, I haven't seen him do much of anything. There's the majority of games there that just passing by the amount of times that the ball goes over his head because he's a small guy. We all see that. But then he does some great things with his feet. So like there's certain standards. Brighton are a fantastic team. De Zerbi's doing really well with them. They'll have Europe this season, so they're going to try and get in as much points as possible before you'll probably see them getting a lot of draws and a few losses in between. So I think they'll become the team to draw with people as Europe kicks in because they have a lot of learning curve to do, man. Can they do a Fulham and kind of do it that way? But I mean,
I think they'll do Fulham, much better than Fulham.
I think so. Yeah,
the final all those years ago, but it's to the.
But they were decimated in the league, then So yeah,
I think the depth in their squad. There's probably players, Kev and Chas, that we haven't even seen. I bet you there's probably about 5 Saicedos chilling in that academy somewhere, and they're just going to wheel them out in the next 2 to 3 year period. Like as Niall said there, Brighton's starting 11 was 18 million compared to United's starting 11 which was 378 million as well. Nuts. And if you're Jadon Sancho, Kev, you're laughing your head off at home or wherever he was. I don't think he was even in the stadium because him and Erik ten Hag have fell out. But I think that it was a great point you mentioned with the bigging up of players. I think every football fan, we are all deluded, no matter who we support. But it's that modern day. On the pitch. Yeah, it's that modern day ism of football fans. You look at how popular Ronaldo is on Instagram. Pogba as well. Sad what's happened with him. I think he's been suspended or getting investigated with what he's been taken off the pitch. But we'll find out anyway. But like the modern deism of certain players being. Certain players are bigger than certain football clubs, Kev, and that's the realm where we're not going to come away from it because hence the social media age we live in. We're on social media now. Like it's so massive and it plays a massive beneficial part hand in hand with modern day football as well. It's how you get that exposure, advertising revenue as well. And even you look at certain clubs bringing in certain players, it helps their portfolio in terms of off the field ambitions as well from a revenue point of view as well, mate. But yeah, it's crazy. They're leaving Sancho out. They're leaving not just Man United, but you look at Chelsea as well. I think they didn't include, was it Cucurella? Cucurella. I know he was supposedly injured, and Lavia injured now as well. Like these big clubs, and you look at Brighton as well as like the infrastructure and what they've done well, Kev, is invested extremely well off the field. And I tell you what, if you're a United fan, they'd probably bite your hand off. And certainly people running Manchester United would certainly bite your hand off for anything. You look at Newcastle, they tried to rob their head of recruitment. Chelsea have signed everyone for Brighton. But Brighton's wheel has continued to go.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a structure. It's a structure.
How have they done that, Kev, from a Brighton point of view?
Well, from a Brighton point of view, so it's you look back to Southampton. They did it for a few years, for quite a while. They were replacing player with player with player. They brought through. They brought through what's his name, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. After they brought through oh god, what's his name? Went to Arsenal as well, and ended up at Everton. What's his bloody name? Jesus, made a one for what's his name? Jesus, I'm forgetting his name. Lad that he just retired recently, or he had to retire recently. For Arsenal, well, he played for Arsenal, then went to Everton. Then I think he went to. Who did he go to after that? Oh, I forget. What is it? Walcott.
Oh yeah,
Jesus, I'm looking at him in the face, and I kept saying. I was about to say Ashley Cole about 5 times, but I'm not, so I was just saying, no, Walcott. But like that's what we're saying, they create these academies of brilliant players, academy full of brilliant players, and they're doing it. And they're doing it well, they can't buy like the rest of the teams can. I mean, and even is saying that Liverpool are probably on the top tier of that kind of situation as well. We got more money than them and all that, but we don't outrightly spend like the rest of the big teams that are around us at all. But yeah, we're still doing the job. And we're still getting it done. We're still comforting. We might have an off season every 4 seasons or something like that, but they were closer together this time around. But we're still doing the job and we're doing it right. And it's down to the structure that a manager sets out. It's down to his team behind it. It's down to whoever. Because the majority of times as well, when managers take over, not only do they have a team that's with them just on the sidelines. Sometimes they bring their youth coaches from places and they structure it down that way. Klopp has kind of done that in his own way, but they'd send down an itinerary of and a structured layout of how they want players to learn and play, and that's what they learn from. And that's what you're saying. Like Cooper picks up his ideas from some of those things. You can see it on the pitch when he's doing it with Nottingham Forest, when they're on the counter attack really, and then the pressing game. A lot of people have taken Jurgen Klopp's mindset. It's the same type of pressing that Jurgen Klopp has developed over his managerial career, and they've pretty much copied it. Another manager in that kind of way as well. Yeah. And Ancelotti's, Klopp's probably picked up a couple of things from Ancelotti in his time playing against him and stuff as well. And Jurgen said himself, there's another couple of guys that he's picked it up from. But but look, there's Brighton their structure there is fantastic. Yeah, they're a good side, man. You'd have a soft spot for them, really, like in that kind of way. As long as they don't do it against us, I don't care. I'll do it against everybody else, and I'm happy.
Trossard's at Arsenal now, so I have flashbacks to that game when he banged in an hat-trick. But yeah, it just goes into point the bigger question that the most modern day football clubs, like the predicament Todd Bowley. Hence, we've already rattled off a couple of the people that they've stole from Brighton, but it's now become more than just signing a manager. Like, hence why Liverpool, of course, Jurgen coming in has played a massive role, but I think the big one that me and you, Kev, and most Liverpool fans have identified is the recruitment process. Like, prior to Jurgen Klopp even coming in, Liverpool's sloppiness in the transfer window. I swear, before we won the league, before Jurgen Klopp, we wasted like $1 billion on absolute dross. Like, there was the Suarez's, there was the Xabi Alonso's, there was the high caliber players along the way, and Torres as well, like players that have come in. But you look at it, and you look in the modern day football.
Patches, though, weren't they? It's like a blanket with patches on it, like really high quality patches.
Like one every 5, 8, 10 signings now. But you look at Brighton's recruitment, you look at Liverpool's recruitments over the last couple of years as well. Certainly being unmatched, really, and that's probably what does Guardiola's head in and goes, they're doing it again. And their data lads certainly probably look at players, but it's trying to think not just on the pitch, but thinking 5 steps ahead of the opposition that you're coming up against as well. And that's where I think Chelsea, until they get rid of Todd Bowley, I think they will continue to struggle. Like, even watching their game today,
clueless.
I get Pochettino's coming, and I rate Poch, but I think even this job's going to be even beyond him, really, because he's got Todd Bowley above him going, these results aren't happening. He's not going to get 2 or 3 years. He's probably going to get another 12 months, and he's just going to get the chop and get sacked quite quickly.
Yeah, look, the Todd Bowley, these kind of guys, they look for excuse men to take the focus off themselves. The same, the players just kind of do it in a similar way, but they used to do it to their directors of football, an awful lot, and they'd make sure the finger gets pointed that way and just stays off of them. But it's too late for them now, because all the fans see what they're like now. But look, Todd Bowley is there. Chelsea fans, in a way, don't. There's a handful of Chelsea fans that I don't mind because they were Chelsea fans through, their parents or uncles or whatever like that down through the years and stuff like that. But then you got the new breed that came in when Mourinho came in.
All that era have known,
and they don't care.
Like
they don't care about it. They just want to see money.
Yeah, they've been used to similar with the 2000 early noughties babies as well. Like it was literally win, trophy, and like even to a certain extent when Liverpool aren't winning games of football, our fan base goes on one as well. Like it's like we don't. Certain sections of fan bases don't understand.
New breeder, because we're doing well recently.
Like what it is in relation to you don't know how to handle, and certainly Chelsea and Manchester United, you don't know how to handle losing games of football.
You should have been us. You should have been me in the 90s and 2000s.
So you know how rubbish Liverpool have been. But under Jurgen Klopp, are very blessed. But Lord behold, hopefully that doesn't happen again post Klopp. But we haven't got a crystal ball, but we'll find out. To Eamon's comments, is Thursday and Sunday turnaround just a myth? Everyone seems to think it, though, Kev.
I don't think so. I mean, it's a 4-day gap between. You're still getting a 3-day gap from the Thursday to the Sunday when you're playing, or the Thursday to the Monday. So it's the same. I like Monday Night Football. I've always loved it. I used to love going out on the karaoke night and watching the football first, and then go to the karaoke afterwards. Used to be great crack. But like, no, man, I just, players have to adapt. And the best thing about playing Thursday night football is you're not going to see too many 12:30 kickoffs on a Saturday morning or on a Sunday morning, for that matter. You're more likely, if you're playing on a Sunday as Liverpool, you're playing at that 4:30 kickoff. It's that simple. There's no way that they don't put Liverpool into a 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday, if they're playing.
It's I don't know if I want to class it as me being old school, but like I shake my head, and obviously I think Klopp reacted quite angrily because Lord behold, fair play to the journos that are in there, especially when it does get heated. They are paid to ask questions, and especially the great journos that have been going year after year. I think it'd probably me thinking, it'd be easy to ask a question, but especially getting the right question as well. Especially as a journalist, your main job is to get clicks for your website and your paper as well. But what you don't want to do is try and antagonize the interviewee, whoever you're interviewing, whether that be Klopp or any Premier League manager as well. But it's difficult. Eamon, I'd agree with Kev. I think at the end of the day, comes down to just the game. That this mentality, as we spoke about at the top of the show, Eamon and Kev and Chas, the mentality hopefully this season is new. It's fresh. We are back. We don't look to the referees for excuses. We look to our own selves as a whole collective of a team. Taking your chances. How many games that we've all seen this weekend? Teams, Wolves, prime example, our game on Saturday. You literally look at Matheus Cunha. Kev should have put his side 2-0 up, and that could have been a completely different game.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be. I just seen when the lads said it was 2:00 on Sunday for the game. I'm over for that game, by the way, so I should know that. But it's look, that's what I'm saying. At least it's not the 12:30. It's not the 1:15 kickoff. It's not the it's not the 1:30 kickoff on the Sunday. You're not getting the first kickoff on the Sunday. No way. From a Thursday game, Wednesday game, you could probably they'll probably play as early as possible. If BT try to get their teeth into you. But that's another good thing. There's nothing good about playing on a Thursday, but that's another good thing about playing on a Thursday. You're not going to see many BT games once that European window kicks in. I think that's why you're seeing it now coming up to Everton and that, because I think that's the gaps between the 2 week markers. So
I think with the scheduling as well, Kev and chat, as Kev's alluded to, once Liverpool start winning games, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, a lot more regular occurrence. Liverpool, the global reach, similar with Man City, and obviously when United are playing well, they are the creme de la creme. They will, of course, get the priority. Well,
100% the reason why Liverpool play at 12:30 on a Saturday is because of TNT or BT. 100%. They just want Liverpool. They want Liverpool on their screen. They know they're going to get the viewership.
Yeah.
So they do that. Liverpool and Man City. Yeah.
Easy viewer base, really, especially from around the world as well, mate. So big up there, lad. Big up there, the 12th man. Big up there, lad. You've been absolutely smashing it, mate. So Keep it up, lads. I've been tuning in now and again, mate, and thank you for taking the time out to tune in, lad. Let's continue to rally and support this club. Good things are coming. The good times are coming back, mate. 100%. We just got to keep on thinking one game at a time, whether that be the Europa League, whether that be the Premier League as well. Keep on ticking every single game off one by one. And hopefully, we'll be doing good anyway. Big up the 12th man. Do you need to shoot, Kev? Or
No. I think this wife was walking past with the kids, so just a message saying I'm still alive here. Yeah, so yeah.
I thought that was Eric Ten Hag knocking to come in. Having a scrap.
Get out the door, you baldy git.
Yeah, but big up there. What's funny about the ones that understand or understate the Sunday kickoffs say we should just suck it up and play when we have to play twice the of next number of teams. 100% there, mate.
Pretty much.
Yeah. 2 p.m. kickoff for the West Ham, I think, as well. Yeah, so that probably.
That's what I was looking up.
Yeah, I was going to say Real Madrid have won. Probably there, Chas. Jude Bellingham apparently played a very great game again.
Good luck, yeah.
It's ridiculous, Jude. He is. That his price tag's making it look cheap anyway. But in terms of that one, the 12 p.m. kickoffs, 8 of those 12 being away, ridiculous. Not the Klopp wants to talk about it. It has to be for people to start talking about the disparity anyway. That's the thing, discrepancy as well, and that's what he said in his press conference was on Friday. He says when he was speaking to the journalists as well, he was muttering to himself, going like he was literally saying, I don't want to be saying what you want, because he knows what the headlines have been. He's managed 100,000 games in football. He's a wise old dog anyway. But it's especially bloody rival fans. But rival fans, they wish they had Jurgen Klopp anyway. But
pretty much.
And then you want to talk about? We've mentioned a couple of the games in the Premier League. We've mentioned Burnley versus Forest. That's tomorrow night. Any other games that tickled your fancy this week, Kev? We've mentioned Tottenham. We've obviously Everton losing against Arsenal this weekend, mate.
I'm surprised they're still in the league, to be honest with you, Everton, the way they've been going on. They're very, very lucky.
To
be honest with you.
I'll ask you, Kev, and I'll ask you, chat as well, first and foremost. Will there be 3 more worse teams than Everton this season?
Luton, Sheffield, straight away. And then you're looking at either if Wolves don't pick up if Wolves play like they did in the first half yesterday and they pick it up, they'll do well and they'll survive. But
just beg the question, really. But will they? They probably will survive again.
Europa League starts this Thursday, Phil.
Yeah, this Thursday, yeah. We'll be doing a watch along, me and Kev, on the both channels. But so make sure you do drop in. For me, it's what were we talking about? What were we saying? I was talking about the Europa League and I completely forgot what we were talking about for a second. The Everton and the position in the league. So yeah, look, I'm looking at it here, and Forest, I think they'll survive again because I think Cooper's a good manager as long as he keeps them that way. Yeah, Luton are on 0 points. Burnley have played 3 games. They could, with a win, come out with a bottom 3, but you've got Everton played 5, 1 point. Luton played 4. You got scored 2 goals, conceded 10. Sheffield 1 point after 5 games. Wolves 3 points after 5. And Chelsea played 5, got 5 points.
I'm not even a religious man, but I would pray to any heaven around if there was a battle for the last place between United and Everton to go down this season. That would just be brilliant.
Could you imagine?
That would just be brilliant. Yeah.
What are they? How many points are they off the bottom? Well, 5 points off the bottom. Wishful thinking, but like in chat, you look at the table, you've got United in 50 and Chelsea in 40. I'm nearly dying with excitement. Ridiculous. It just goes to show, chat, how much of a state both of those clubs. Chelsea have been in a state for the last couple of years anyway. But ridiculous. Hopefully that trend does continue, Kev, before they die. Probably calmer after me throwing digs at United. But yeah, going into the next game on Thursday, Kev, to round off the show as well, Reds. Let us know your starting 11 predictions in the starting 11. But Kev, any potential players? I'm excited if Ben Doak does get a starting 11 spot
He should be.
on Thursday night. How well
But
do you
that's
anticipate him
all
to do?
down to Mo Salah. If Mo Salah wants goals
Yeah.
and he wants to up his goals in the season, he'll do that. Or he'll just start Doak and bring Salah in second half.
We'll rewind a second.
Mm.
Mo Salah. I don't know what. Well, are we waxing lyrical about Robbo and Mo Salah again, mate? Yes.
3 assists. Yeah, 3 assists.
Have they give Elliot's goal as an own goal? I think
it's an own goal. They should. I think they shouldn't, because you don't know whether that next bounce is going to take it back to the left or not. It looked like when the ball was leaving the air, it looks like it's going to go wide. But it's Joe. That's the same kind of scenario for me with the Virgil van Dijk scenario with the red card.
Yeah,
it looks like he's going to get past, but you don't know whether if Van Dijk didn't step in, if he was going to get in front of him. You can't just second guess. Oh yeah, he might be receiving the ball, but not in the goals. He mightn't have been in the goal scoring chance after he took his second touch to shoot. So
Salah become the most decorated assister from Africa in the Premier League history, surpassing Riyad Mahrez. I think Mahrez was on 61. I think Mo's on 63 now, if I'm right. But,
no way, selfish Mo Salah. No way. Do you remember that?
Everybody 5 season wonder or 6 seasons. It's the way he's took on the more creative. He was doing it a lot more last season. Well, it's always been a part of his game, but I think over the last 2 seasons, Kevin Chas, he's took that mantle on even more. I think do you reckon he's under clear instructions from Jurgen to try and get a bit more out of Darwin, a bit more out of Gakpo, a bit more out of Jota?
Yeah, but I just think he's just ingrained into the team now that he knows what's expected of him. And I just think, before when we were on a high and everybody else was able to create around him, he could shoot left, right, and centre. But he knew when he had to step up, when Henderson dropped off and Fabinho dropped off and there was less creativity coming from the midfield, he had to become more creative. And I think that's just crept into his game.
Has that side of his game got better? For me, it has.
Yeah, way better.
Creativity, which is mad when you think about his age.
Normally he's from the outside of the foot and you see him once every few weeks. But now he's, look at a very similar pass for Robbo yesterday that you seen for the Gakpo pass in the 7-0 last season. Very, very similar. The same area. He just wants somebody to make that underrun. This is what I was talking about all the time, where Salah used to be that dude making that underrun all the time, whereas that would be Trent playing that pass into Salah, in seasons gone by. But now Salah's a bit more out wide, so yeah. It's no guys that are making underruns from him that are getting the goals. And Andy Robertson coming from the right-hand side of the pitch in the right centre midfield role, as a left midfielder and scoring a goal, yeah.
The Scottish Bilbo Baggins going on an adventure down the right wing. It's like, well, what am I doing?
Celebrations as well. It means a lot, Yeah. And he was captain as well, So I love Robbo as captain, man. I do.
He antipifies every single Liverpool fan around the world. He is one of us. And that historic history in our football club, we've always had a Scottish player. We've had Irish. We've had English. We've had Northern Irish. We've had such a mix of continental Liverpool. But certainly, if you think about it, there's that always classic saying of, if Liverpool are successful in our history, we've always got a Scottish player in our team. There was a long time where we had a whole Scottish team as well. They go back to the early 1905-10 period as well. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah. We love
cheaper to bring them down.
Yeah.
But no, fantastic. Yeah, no, I've as long as I've been growing up supporting Liverpool, there's always been an Irishman or a Scotsman in the team. Oh, but I should say both at the same time. You're going back to the Souness's and Whelans and all of these kind of guys that have been around the team. John Aldridge, who's Scots Irish, and they've always been there. Jim Beglin, there's a lot of players that have been in the team down through the years. Love it. Ray Houghton.
It's funny how that happens, Kev, in chat, isn't it? The affiliation with different nations, but the main nations with Liverpool, Kev, it's very special. What are you chuckling to?
I just laughed away to myself.
What are you chuckling about?
Oh,
You can't say it on stream anyway, but
I know it's just the Ray Houghton goal against England that time, and it was fantastic. How would you score that one, Ray? It just popped into my head straight away. It was a fantastic goal. Apologies to the English fans in the crowd, not really.
Excited to see Bacetic, Elliott, Bradley, Doak, Endo, Clark, Simicus. It's an opportunity to solidify the continuity of the squad and more as just a starting 11, but a team that competes as well. 100% there, mate. I would have said that the young lads that played in the defence, Quansah, would have started on Thursday, but he went off injured. Any updates on him, North? We spoke about that at the top of the show, mate. We anticipate him. I think it was just mainly, everyone was saying he was injured, Kev, but that's just mainly due down to his
calf strain.
Yeah, youthfulness. He had a lot of cramp. I would have said when I seen it.
It's just cramp.
Cramp, yeah. So, Ryan and Endo. Liverpool. So, Ryan, Jack, do you get the games, mate, or do you struggle to get tickets? Charlie, meant to be going Leicester. They are like bloody gold dust. I do share the season ticket with a good mate anyway. But that's only where we can't do the midweek games anyway.
Are you doing Burnley with me?
Hopefully, yeah. I'll be up for that.
Yeah.
So, so make sure you head over to Kev's channel. We'll have a lot more vlogs out on his channel, so please do head over, check it out there. But he'll be going to a lot more games than me, potentially this season. It's in the bottom of the league. Moses Caicedo turns down, but yeah, it's madness. Obviously, Ryan's opportunity is going to show his immense talent and give him the chance to 100%.
I think you could see Endo. Are we doing the starting 11 thing? Or
yeah, we'll try and.
Well, I don't know if we're going to be kind of logical and say he's going to drop out Verge or whatever, you know. I do want to see Quansah starting. Yeah, I do want to see Quansah starting. So that'd be great. Trent was on the bench last week, so you might see him starting this game to get some game time in.
Van Dijk
before you might see that. So I'd like to see Trent, Quansah, Van Dijk, and Simicas in that defense. That's what I would go for. Queeving Kelleher to start. If he's going to rest Ali, you know, they've been to South America, they come back. You know, I would rest any of these players that have done the long traveling. Or you would play Endo in the middle of the park.
Okay,
by Chetic, Gravenberch, and I know Harvey Elliott could go in there, but Joe Gomez could start in that back line as well. But I don't know. I would rest anybody that we really need in defence. You know, and I would give Quansah the game time that he needs to build his strength up, his proper match fitness. You know, so yeah, I would do that. Endo, Gravenberch. I want to see Bajcetic get a game. I mean, he hasn't seen a game of football since he's come back, really. So I want to see him kind of get a run out. He mightn't start the game, so maybe Elliot. Costas said Simicast left back, yeah.
Do you reckon he'll play centre half in the hybrid role that Robbo does?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he'll just he's done it, and he's actually done the what would you call it? What do they call Trent's role?
The inverted.
That's the one. Lads, I get it eventually. I have a tired head on me with all these kids. I'm losing words out the wazoo. But yeah, inverted. Yeah, he could play inverted role as well. You know, no problem. He's done it a couple of times. I want to see. That's what I said. Endo, Bajcetic, and Gravenberch. I'd like to see, but I then bring on Elliot later if you have to. Bring on somebody later. You know, I want to see Doak starting. I want to see Nunez starting. Because you know he hasn't started the last couple of games, so stick him up front, Captain Chaos there, or Agent of Chaos we should call him. And on the left hand side, you might is Clark still there, or is he gone out on loan?
There'll be a couple of young lads anyway, but
yeah, there'll be a couple of young lads there. So
Bradley as well. Mavea, chat. I don't know. I know I don't know what's happened with Mabea. As I said, I don't see a lot of the under-21s. I really should be watching a lot more of the under-21s. But chat, I know you know, where's Mabea up to? Because was it this season or was it last season's pre-season, Kev? Where he
last season's
in his game season and he looked marvellous.
He took an injury last season or something like that. There was a long-term injury. Cade Gordon who's back as well, so you might see him get little run-outs, you know. So, you know, these are the kind of guys you want to see, but we do have the League Cups and stuff coming up, so you're probably going to see them getting run-outs in these kind of games, you know. So I would go with a semi-senior squad in Europa League, just get the first couple of games out of the way, win your group, and then use the kids then add more kids in if you need to for one or two of the games. You give them, it's because we're away from home too. It's great starting the kids and they are a weaker opposition, but they could come out to kick the shins off, and the kids mightn't be able to deal with that sometimes. So, I would,
I think
yeah, I
we've
would think it's,
mentioned the
yeah,
name.
I think, I think so. Like, I mean, I would definitely have by Cheddar give him a start, and if he can play a game, give him as many minutes as possible. You want to see him coming into that number 6 role to help out as much as possible as well. So, and the anchor role. So, yeah.
Yeah, as Dynamite saying there, Kev, the future looks very bright for Liverpool. 100%, mate. Kev, will you be streaming on Thursday?
Oh yeah. I'll be doing the watch along. I have a gig that night, but luckily the game is early, so I'll be streaming from 5:30. Yeah, 5:45 kickoff. So I'll be streaming from 5:30. Yeah.
Well, massive thank you, Kev. Massive thank you to every single one of you that have tuned in this evening. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button down below. Kev from the Kitmen, Kev from Spider FC as well. Obviously, Mark has put Spider's channel links in the description. Kev, you do game as well, don't you? Just shout out.
Yeah, a lot of gaming. Yeah. So I'm an Irish Spider guy on Twitch. If you want to find me on YouTube, it is Spider, but you still have to search Irish Spider guy there to find me really. And TikTok is flying up at the moment as well. So, I've just passed 500. Now if I get to 1,000, I can start doing lives there as well. So, lads, if you follow me on TikTok, it's Spider LFC over there as well. So you can find me in all of these places. Playing Mortal Kombat at the moment. We'll be playing FIFA and clubs with you boys starting next week. And then coming up, we've got Assassin's Creed Mirage and Spider-Man 2 as well on the way. So there's a few.
All the gaming reds that you do.
Lots of horrors.
Yeah, probably just put some highlights of Everton's defending or ours in the last 12 months. But Kev, massive thank you. Chat, massive thank you to every single one of you that has joined us on this fine Sunday evening. If you're going into work, college or uni or whatnot tomorrow, go and smash it, whatever you're up to. If not, if your day off, enjoy it. You deserve it. Kev, massive thank you once again, mate, for coming on this evening.
No problem.
If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. Smash a like on the way out as well. Massively does help out the channel. But Reds, we'll be back live tomorrow evening at a very similar time, 9 p.m. If you don't get your notifications, put your notifications on so you do get notified when a video does go live. But Reds, Kev, Liverpool have started extremely well. Third place in the Premier League so far. And hopefully the good form does continue. So, oh, wrong button. Thank God. In a bit, chat. I'm trying to end the stream.
We are Liverpool. La, 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 la.
Oh, we are back.
We are Liverpool. La, la, la.